You've seen this graph before. Almost every successful content creator you can think of has had these two moments in their story. The moment they started, which was probably years ago, and then a long stretch where they were creating, they were showing up, they were putting in the work, but nothing much was moving. And then the inflection point where everything changed super fast. So most people are gonna look at this and assume that it was luck or a viral moment or the right person shared their content at the right time. That is almost never what actually happened. What caused the inflection point was a decision. And in the next 12 minutes, I'm gonna show you exactly what that system looks like because I have spent over a decade building it, breaking it, rebuilding it, and installing it inside other people's businesses. And by the end of this video, you will know why your content is not generating the leads it should be. You'll know exactly which problem you're stuck in, and you'll have a clear framework for fixing it. Let's get into it. But before I show you the system, I want to address something that most people in this space will not say out loud. It's that you've probably been taking advice from people whose business has nothing to do with yours. And that mismatch is the single biggest reason that educated, talented, hardworking service business owners and experts are getting really frustrating results from content. And here's what I mean. So you decided that you wanted to build your authority online, attract clients through content, and stop depending on referrals. So you did what makes sense. You looked at what was winning on social media, the people with the biggest followings, the ones whose content got millions of views, and you watched how they post. You studied the format. You followed the advice. Maybe you even saw that clip where Gary Vee says,
must film 100 to 500 clips every week.
And you know, Gary is not wrong here. I want to be really clear about that. He is not giving bad advice. He is giving correct advice for his business model, which is completely different than yours. So Gary is talking to the creator community where the revenue comes from the platform and brand deals and sponsors. The more views they get, the more money they make. So from that perspective, posting 20 times a day is a completely rational strategy. But your customer is a real human being with a specific problem who needs to trust you enough to pay you $1,000 or more every single month. Those are fundamentally different objectives. So when you follow influencer advice as an expert, you're optimizing for views when what you really need is trust. And you can get a lot of views, you can be very consistent, you can do everything you were told to do and still get no results because the advice was never designed to produce clients. It was designed to produce attention. And this distinction is the foundation of everything I'm gonna show you today. So here's a quick context on who I am before we get into the framework. My name is Ken Okazaki, and I've spent over a decade building content systems for some of the most well-known speakers, thought leaders, and business owners in the world. I run a content agency. I invented a video hardware product for my own agency clients, built it into a business, and sold it to a UK media company just last December. And I run a coaching program called the Video Marketing Machine. This is where I've helped over 100 experts across 3 continents install the system I'm about to walk you through right now. I want to tell you one story before I get into the framework because it shaped how I think about all of this. I was working with Peng Joon, and if you don't know him, he's one of the most well-known internet marketers in Asia, serious operator, a huge following. So here's what happened. He hired me to help produce 120 videos in just 4 days. And day one, we were on fire. The videos were done. Everyone was energized. We shot 30 videos. We're exactly on schedule. But when day 2 came around, everything stopped. He was out of energy, I was out of ideas, the creative well had run dry, and we still had 90 videos to shoot. And sitting there on day 2, I had that realization that changed how I think about content permanently. I realized the problem was not effort because we had plenty of effort. The problem was that we were relying on our creative energy instead of a framework, and creative energy runs out. So I built one on the spot, a framework that specified exactly what stage of the content process we were in at any given moment, so neither of us had to burn brain power on decisions. Every choice was made in advance. We just had to execute. You know, the shoot came back to life and we hit 120 videos, and 2 of those videos got over 10 million views organically, and a third one got over 14 million. Not because of luck, but because the content was engineered through a framework. And that is the principle behind everything I'm about to show you. You see, frameworks remove the bottleneck that kills the consistency, and consistency is what causes that inflection point on the graph. Every expert I've met who struggles to generate clients through content is stuck in one of 3 problems. I want you to actively think about which one applies to you right now because the fix is different depending on where you are. The first problem is nobody knows you. Nobody knows who you are. You're excellent at what you do. Your clients get results, but outside your existing network, you're invisible. Your pipeline depends entirely on people who already know you exist, and that is a ceiling you hit super quickly. So here's a quick reality check. Take a quick moment to be honest with yourself. Would your business be really feeling it within 60 days if all your referrals slowed down? And if it isn't, this is probably the problem you're stuck on right now. The second problem is nobody cares about you or your business. You're showing up, you're creating content, people see you, but nothing happens. The content does not create desire. It does not create engagement. People watch and they move on. At this stage, you're informing strangers rather than attracting clients. If you've got visibility but no engagement, this is your problem. The third problem is nobody buys. This is the most frustrating one. You have visibility, you have engagement, people follow you, share your content, tell you how valuable it is to them, but they don't pay you money. Visibility without pipeline. So if people love your content, but your revenue is not reflecting it, this is your problem. Here's the most important thing to understand about these three problems. They are sequential. You can't fix nobody cares until you fix nobody knows you. You can't fix nobody buys until you fix nobody cares. And most experts are attacking all three at the time with no system connecting them, which is why the effort never compounds into results over time. The framework I'm about to show you addresses each problem in order, and it gives you a way to know exactly where you are and exactly what to focus on next. So there's 5 stages running from the base to the top. We've got cadence, confidence, competence, proficiency, and then authority. And profit sits above the triangle, not inside of it, because profit is not a stage. It is the natural outcome of completing the journey. Here's the thing, most experts I work with are stuck somewhere in the middle of this triangle. They've got cadence, they show up, but the content is not yet producing at the level of authority that attracts clients consistently. You got 3 sides, 3 problems, 3 solutions. Let me walk you through each one. On side 1, the problem is nobody knows you, and it's solved by building an audience. We call this the audience accelerator. There's 3 components inside of it. There's the invite ad. It's a specific scripted format designed to attract ideal future clients rather than random viewers. There's the $5 campaign, which is the actual strategy for setup, targeting, and retargeting. You do not need a big budget to start this. $5 a day is genuinely enough, which is why I named it what we named it. And then there's a tracking mechanism, so you always know whether your reach is actually growing day by day. So the key insight here is the difference between building reach and building the right reach. Most experts who try paid social promotion boost random posts hoping that something sticks. The audience accelerator is engineered to put specific content in front of specific people who match the profile of someone who would actually pay you. So one targets attention, the other targets trust. On side 2, nobody cares, and this is solved with engagement. We call this the engagement engine. 3 components here. We've got production, which covers how to actually shoot and edit videos that build trust rather than just fill a feed. We've got the core 5, which is a planning system that removes the decision making from content creation. Every week and every month is planned around a theme so you never face a blank page. And we have 4-week campaigns. And that last one is worth spending a moment on because this is the idea that creates the biggest shift in the people I work with. Most experts are stuck in what I call hand-to-mouth content creation. So you post today, you post tomorrow, post the next day, and the day after. Endless creation with no strategic purpose connecting any of it. So it's volume for the sake of volume. And by the end of the week, you're still back to square one again. The 4-week campaigns pulls you completely out of that. So you stop thinking about content day by day and you plan 4 weeks in advance around a single theme that is designed to result in a sale at the end. Every piece of content serves that campaign. Nothing is random, nothing is wasted. You stop being a content creator and you become a strategist. And that shift is gonna change everything about how you show up, how your audience experiences you over time, and ultimately how your content converts. You know, this is also the lesson I took from the Peng Joon shoot I talked about earlier. When you remove the creative decision making from the process through a framework, the quality actually goes up and the burnout risk, it goes way down. So the core 5 and the 4-week campaigns are essentially a macro framework applied to your entire content strategy. On side 3, nobody is buying, and this is solved with a conversion system. We call it the dead simple funnel, and it's got 3 components. First, you got the skinny lead magnet. And what this means is it's a complete solution to a narrow problem. Something genuinely worth people's time that you give away for free. So the key word here is narrow. We don't want a PDF guide, not an ebook with a ton of value. What we need is to focus on one specific problem solved completely. So think of it this way, if you wouldn't spend $50 on your skinny lead magnet, then it's probably not valuable enough yet. And that specificity is what makes it feel valuable rather than generic. And the next is speed to lead. So AI automations like ManyChat that deliver the skinny lead magnet and then start conversations the moment someone raises their hand. Speed matters more than most people realize here. The research on lead response time is super clear. The faster the response time, the higher the conversion rate. And automation handles this so a human does not have to be available 24 hours a day. The third component is the decision-making mechanism, which is a video that walks someone through your thinking, your framework, your proof, and your offer in a way that builds enough trust for them to take the next step. A video like this one, for example. So what I'm saying is the video you're watching right now is built on the dead simple funnel framework. The hook that stopped you scrolling, the villain that named a problem you recognize, the framework teaching you something genuinely useful, and the call to action at the end that will invite the right people to take a next step. So this is not a video about a system. This is the system running right now. This is what happens when all three sides of the triangle are working together. Content that reaches the right people, earns their trust over time, and has a mechanism to convert that trust into a conversation. I want to close with something personal because I think it's the most useful thing I can tell you. You know, a lot of people who watch videos like this one conclude that the person teaching it must be naturally good at this, naturally comfortable on camera, naturally creative, that they have some advantage the viewer does not have. And I want to dismantle that for you completely. You see, the first time I ever did a live presentation, I was so nervous that I asked my wife and my son and a few of my staff to sit in the room with me just in case I needed their support. Mostly, I think I just needed to not feel alone. So I had my wife sit just off camera within arm's reach so I could reach her and hold her hand. You should have seen me. I was sweating, I was shaking. At multiple times during the presentation, I wanted to stop the whole thing and just walk out of the room. But I had a framework. I had a process to follow from one point to the next, and I just executed the process step by step, and I made sales on that presentation. You know, to this day, I still don't feel natural when I'm in front of the camera. There are lines I have to take 10 times over. You know, my entire house, it sounds like a broken record during content creation days, and I almost never get it on the first try. But the system does not care how I feel. It produces results anyway. This is the single most important thing I want you to take away from this video. You don't need to be talented. You don't need to be confident. You don't need to feel ready. What you need is a framework that carries you through when the feelings are telling you to stop. Because the experts who win at content are not the most naturally gifted. They're just the ones who built the system and then kept running it. The hardest worker in the room chases deals. The most sought after expert in the room attracts them. Those sound similar, but they're not similar at all. The difference is the system. If you made it this far, I'm gonna assume that this resonated with you on some level. Maybe you recognize yourself in one of the three problems. Maybe the framework gave you a clearer picture of where you're stuck, or maybe you've been doing hand-to-mouth content creation and you're ready to start running campaigns instead. Whatever the reason, you're still here, and here is what I wanna offer. You see, I run a program called the Video Marketing Machine, where we install this system inside your business over 90 days. It's done with you, with your team, with editing included so the production bottleneck does not kill your progress before it even starts. This is not for everyone. This is built specifically for established experts in service businesses and coaches who already have a proven offer and a pipeline that depends too heavily on referrals. If that sounds like you and you want to find out whether this program is the right fit, there's a link in the description below. Go ahead and click it, answer a few questions about your business, and that's all you got to do. I will personally look at all of the answers, and if it looks like a genuine fit, we will get you onboarded and started right away. There's no hard sell, no pressure, just a conversation to see if it makes sense. And if you're not ready for that yet, just hit subscribe, because this is what I talk about. Every video is going to be built around helping experts just like you to turn your expertise into a pipeline that runs without you chasing it. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for booking in your strategy session with me and taking your first step to growing your business with video marketing. Thank you so much for booking Thank you so much for booking in your strategy session with me and taking your first step to growing your business with video marketing. Together, we'll look at your Together, we'll look at your audience, your offer, and your price point and see what's possible. For you in the next 12 months. Together, we'll look at your audience, your offer, and your price point. Together, we'll look at your audience, your offer, and your price point and see what's possible for you in the next 12 months. Together, we'll look at your audience, your offer, and your price point and see what's possible for you in the next 12 months. Next, we'll look at your messaging, your video skill, and your ads. Next, we'll look at your messaging, your video skill level, and your ads, and see and identify. Next, we'll look at your messaging, your video skills, and your ads, and see what's the number one thing holding you back from getting the growth in your business that you want. Holding you back from the growth you're after for your business. I'll wait for the bike. And next, we'll look at your messaging, we'll look at your messaging, your video skills. Next, we'll look at your messaging, your video skills, and your ads, and identify what's the number one thing holding you back from the progress you want for your business, the growth you want for your business. Next, we'll look at your Okay. Next, we'll look at your Next, we'll look at your messaging, Next thing we'll do is look at your messaging, your video skill level, and your ads, and identify the number one thing holding you back from the growth you want in your business. Next, we'll look at your messaging, Next,